For my research project, I decided to explore the Free the Nipple documentary on Netflix that was made by Lena Esco and her friends. It was their first attempt at a documentary, and I think it was quite successful. I highly recommend it. And it is to kind of explore the beginnings and the ins and outs of the Free the Nipple movement that we see spreading across America and other countries today. So I'm just going to dive right into what is the movement. Essentially, in the movie, one of the main press guys that is responsible for getting the movement out to the masses explains that the Trojan horse is the free the nipple, that is the sex symbol of the boobs. But the real message is war and how all of these things are war and crime and blood and glory for these things are spread across in games and TV and movies and television shows and things like that to our children. And so they are allowed to see these images, but somehow a image of a woman breastfeeding or this image of a woman standing 9 months pregnant is somehow wrong because you simply see their nipple. It's also to expose the double standard, and that would be that a man is allowed to walk around on a hot summer's day shirtless, but a woman cannot. And in the cities that a woman is allowed to walk around shirtless on a hot summer's day, i.e., Eugene, New York, a lot of times the woman is still arrested for that. So this brings us to a sort of identity crisis, I think, where little boys are taught to be these aggressive, macho characters that are super violent, and women are taught to be these sex symbols where you're always have your hair and makeup done and you're always sexy and skinny, but somehow just a woman naked breastfeeding her child is wrong, and that image can't be shown, but a woman in lingerie can. This brings us to an interesting question of what does the world think? And for a lot of westernized countries like England and Iceland, they believe the same thing, that everything should be normalized, pretty much. And they hold similar protests to those that we see in America. But places like India, where a woman fully clothed is still raped and judged for not being appropriately clothed, quote unquote, and sense the sarcasm there. And this is still like seen as like socially acceptable in some places, and like it's just part of the norm. Where I think this brings us to my last slide, and the movement is, I believe, culturally constituted, and that each culture has its own idea of what the movement means to them. In America, it means free those titties, be as free as you can, do everything that everybody can, everybody is equal. But in other places, it's the inside of the Trojan horse, to use the press guy's reference. That is, it's stop the violence, have peace. We are all human, and accept that because we are all here.